Hello, I'm attorney Robert A. Broadie of Carolina Legal Solutions, and I want to again thank you for tuning in for another episode of Testimonial Tuesdays. Today's question comes from Allison, and her question is as follows. My neighbor has two large dogs and lets them out after they return home from work and allows them to roam our private area unattended. They have been caught in my yard and done their business on my side of the fence. The neighbor feels that this is fine because she lives next door to a relative and counter corner to another relative. I live across from her and have no fence in front of my yard. I finally spoke to her and asked her, as she was coming to her residence, that we all share on the same private path. She was followed by her dogs running behind her. I was in my yard and asked her to please work together on leashing her pets, and that would keep them from defecating on my side of the yard. One of her dogs came behind me and took a nip at the back of my leg while she was in the car. I have more details, but I'm running out of space. My rights. Well, Allison, this is a loaded question. I assume you're asking the question twofold. One, what are your rights about her biting on your leg? And two, what your rights are as far as your neighbor allowing her dogs to trespass on your property. And I use the term, and I will address the second portion of what I assume your question is first. And I use the term trespass because that is essentially what she is doing. Anytime you allow any of your personal property to remain on the presence of someone else's property, unwanted remaining, and that is a trespass. And so essentially she is allowing her pets to trespass on your property if you've asked her to not allow them to do so. So what I would do, or what I would suggest that you do in that regard, is to photograph. Anytime her dogs are in your property, or video the incidents, so photograph any damage that they do to your property while they're remaining there. And then you can call law enforcement or go to your local magistrate and file a trespassing warrant against your neighbor for trespassing or allowing her property to trespass against yours. Additionally, you can report your neighbor to the local law enforcement agency or the animal section of that law enforcement agency and report her for any local leash law violations. Now, you have to be cautious in doing so. Many counties, there's a misconception that all areas have leash law violations, but here in North Carolina, many counties in the county area do not necessarily have leash law violations. A lot of leash law violations are specifically designed for the city codes. So inside the city area, you may find a leash law violation. Outside of the county area, there might not be one. So you want to check with your local law enforcement agency to see if there is actually a leash law ordinance in your surrounding area. And lastly, you may want to also seek counsel for the bite. There may be a personal injury claim that may be out there for you to file against your homeowner, for your neighbor or her homeowner's insurance because her property did injure you, and I'm assuming you were injured from the nature of the dog bite nipping on the back of your leg. So what you can do is actually file a claim against her homeowner's insurance or against her, or even sue her in small claims court for the damage that was done to the back of your leg when her dog nipped at you. And if you think that these dogs are aggressive in doing so, you can also report that to animal control and have her dogs deemed to be aggressive dogs. Well, Allison, we do thank you for asking that question. It's a very good question. We hope that we have given you good answers to your question there. To everyone else, we want to thank you again for tuning in to another episode of Testimonial Tuesday. We encourage you to submit your questions on our Facebook page or on our website at www.carolinalegalsolutions.com or call us at area code 336-885-1529. That's 336-885-1LAW. Thank you and be blessed.